Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 3 from MIRAI Days, which just brought the time shenanigans to a whole new level. And I dare say this was my favorite episode so far because it was so smart and the storytelling of MIRAI Days is so good. And I feel like this one was the best example of that. As I am doing the MIRAI Days videos, I'm going to start by talking about the new stock footage that we have, the Topaz transformation and the new Topaz attack. Topaz is my favorite form from MAHOU TSUKAI, and the Topaz transformation was my favorite in the original MAHOU. This time around, I feel like this is the one I like the least so far. Out of the 3 new transformations, this one felt very lackluster and it didn't feel as creative and as funny and as dynamic as the original. So I don't know, I felt like it lacked a little bit, even though it was very pretty still. But the attack, on the other hand, I really like it. I feel like it's on the same level as the original to me and very good. And I love the Topaz forms. The usage of the Topaz forms, they're always very interesting. And this episode just showed that in the action scene, which we're going to get there eventually. So let's talk about the episode itself. The episode starts with a realization, which is the guy who is called Ire, which is another word for like anger, I think, which I don't know. He doesn't feel that angry, but I don't know. We know very little about him, and I love the mystery surrounding this character. I'm very curious. So Mirai comes to the realization that he is from the human world based on the clothes he wears. Girl. And so they are in the magical world. So they're like, okay, we have to go back to the human world so that we can investigate and try to find him. And when they're coming back, they're trying to get to the magical metro, and Hisui cannot get in without paying because Hisui has grown. And I'm glad the episode has shown the differences because I would not have noticed. Girl, I don't know if I am too scatterbrained or if the art is not that different and it doesn't really differentiate her, but it didn't really feel to me that she grew. And obviously, I feel like that is another callback to Ha-chan that grew very fast until she got to be the Hanamikoto how we know. By the way, where is she? I mean, we kind of already know based on a toy that she is coming later. I am angry about that. Until when they come to the human world, they start trying to investigate and we learn new things. For example, Kay, she is now a journalist in the human world. Let's put it like this. She is a journalist now and she's studying. She sent messages to Mirai because Mirai had lots of messages while she was in the magical world. And so they start their investigation. We have a very cute scene in Mirai's house. Mirai's mom hugs Riko and they all welcome her with open hand. They get to know Hisui. And then there is Mirai's grandma who has hurt her ankle. And I feel like that scene was, it was not there for nothing. It was there for a reason. We don't know the reason yet, but she wouldn't have hurt her ankle. Oh, she tripped and she hurt her ankle. And the anime is going to just show that because, you know, it's an older person and that happens with older people. Definitely not. It's going to play a part in the narrative for sure. And then they go to Riko's old room. Everything was as it was before. Hisui plays in the bedroom. And then they go to where the bear appeared because now there was a YouTuber showing that bear. I felt represented, honey. And then when they go, we have a very funny scene of the invisibility cape from Mirai shrinking because she put it in the washer, but they didn't find anything. There was basically nothing there, and they also needed to get Riko a cell phone, and we have a very funny scene with them trying to get a cell phone. Very cool. And when they are in Mirai's house at night, they have a little conversation in Mirai's bedroom, and there is a detail that I absolutely love. Every night when Mirai is going to sleep, her bedroom is very close to the window. And she never puts the curtains down. And when she is going to sleep, Riko points it out in the first time, like, oh, Mirai, the curtains, like, aren't you going to close them? So she points it out in this first moment, and Mirai just, smiles about it. And as I said, those scenes are never there for nothing. There was a reason why this happened, and we learned at the end of the episode, which was so beautiful. Oh my God. As I said, this series is really blowing me away. Clearly blowing me away. And then on the next day, Mirai goes to the university and she is studying while Riko is in the park with Hisui, and they are eating a strawberry melon pan. They're just, chilling there. And Mirai has a vision. And when she has a vision, she sees she sees herself in a bookstore or a library, and Ayer is there. So he probably works there. And also they saw him before in the scene of the first monster appearing, that Ayer was also there. He had an apron, so he was probably during a break in his job or something like that, or he escaped from his job a little bit. And then Mirai meets him at this moment in this library. In her mind, she sees a vision probably of the future. And then they talk a little, and then she runs to tell Riko what she saw, and then probably like search for a library or a bookstore to see if they can find him. But when she calls Riko, he is the one who answers the phone. Girl, that was a very chilling moment. I was like, girl, what is happening? I was scared for a moment there. But Riko only forgot the cell phone when she went to get more strawberry melon pan for Hisui. Probably Hisui wanted more. And that scene was so funny because Mofurun scolded her. And Riko is always the one who is scolding people. And now she was scolded by Mofurun. Girl, that was so lovely. I am loving Mofurun so much. There's so much charisma in that little teddy bear. Oh my goodness, I just can't deal. And so they start dialoguing with him. And it's interesting because in the first episode, there was a dome where they were and no one could see, but people could see the bear before the dome was in place. And now he creates the dome first, and then he summons a monster because he does not want to be bothered by other people as well. But they start talking, and it's very funny, not funny, but it's intriguing, because Ayer always talks in riddles and in a very poetic way as well. He told Riko something I really liked. When he was talking about what he was doing, and when he talked about the fact that Hisui is something that he wants, he needs Hisui, and Riko is like, why do you need her? And he told her, you shouldn't worry about why I need her. You should worry about creating a story with her, weaving your story closer to her story. Because, that's at the end of the day, that's what matters. I mean, they need to protect her, yes, but also, like, they also need to create memories and good moments with Hisui as well. I mean, they don't need to, but it's PreCure, so that is a valuable thing for sure. And then they transform into the topaz form, and the battle starts. After they transform, they start attacking him. They start attacking Ayer. And he knows every single movement that they're going to do and every single line that they are going to say as well. And even Mofurun's line, he even says the line, he says, Mofu at the end. That was cute. I'm sorry. That was cute. The battle is really nice. I really like the way they use the topaz form. And then we have a big robot appearing. And it's interesting, if we look at the past 3 monsters, they are toys becoming monsters. All the 3 of them. And at the end, we see Ayer as a kid. Does this have something to do with anything? What is going on? I am so curious for this story. Oh my God. And then, while they are fighting the robot, they're able to send the robot flying. And then they are able to have more of a conversation with Ayer. And here's where things get very tricky, but also very intriguing and entertaining. I love it, even though time traveling always makes it very confusing to me. What happens is that with that beam that he hit them with in the first episode, he gave them the power to see the future and the past in random moments, random times. But Ayer does not know what they are seeing. He is not the one sending them the visions. They are seeing things that are not controlled by him. So, because I really thought that he was the one, based on what he said in the first episode, we're going to meet in 14 hours and something minutes. And now he tells them that he is not in control of the visions. He's not in control of what they're seeing. And Mirai's like, that's not true because you told me this, and that. And while Mirai and Rico, they both have the power to see the future and the past, Ayer has the power of traveling through time. So he can go to the future and he can also go to the past. So the thing that Mirai told him in this episode, that he told them in episode 1, he is listening for the first time in episode 3. So he went back in time to episode 1 and told them what they told him. So it's a huge time paradox because what happened when everything happened with Mirai at the end of the second episode that he predicted, it only happened because he is able to travel through time. And Mirai told him what he told her in the past. But if he didn't travel through time and told her that in the past, Mirai wouldn't know to tell him in the future. Girl, that is so confusing. But it's so interesting as well. He is really able to traverse through time and learn things by manipulating what the cures are doing. And he wants Hisui. He needs her for something. We don't really know why. And he doesn't know who Hisui is, actually. But he knows she exists. And probably he knows that he needs her. And he knows about her because of his time traveling abilities as well. Maybe something happens in the future that will tell him Hisui's role in this story, because we have no idea what her role is. And also because of the fact that he battled against Mother Rapapa, or the inherit of Mother Rapapa's power, who is Hachan, or Cure Felice in her goddess form. We don't know where she is. We don't know what she is doing. We don't know if she is the one who created Hisui or if Hisui originated from her. We know nothing about her. And that's also very interesting because I'm loving this mystery. I feel like there are so many PreCure fans that want mystery season, a detective season. And I feel like this is kind of it. They are searching for clues. They are trying to find clues and things to know more about this guy. And, you know, it really feels like a mystery show. And I am loving it so much. And there's also the craziness of time travel shenanigans. They are always crazy in my mind. I have, like, you can see the smoke coming out of my head right now while I'm trying to piece things together. And so the monster, the robot, comes back from the sky, and then they just defeat it very easily. And Ayer goes away, wanting to meet them next, wanting to meet them soon. And so at the end of the episode, the girls are very confused on what's happening, and we see Mirai having another vision. And this time it's a vision from the past. It's a vision from when they were together in Hachan's room. Because there was one room for Riko and one room for Hachan in her house. And Riko, when she was going to say goodbye to Mirai in that night, why aren't they sleeping in the same bed? Why aren't they sleeping together? When she was going to say goodbye to Mirai, she looked at the window again and she said, "Oh, the curtains." And Mirai just smiled. And then Mirai started, after the vision she had about Hachan, she started remembering why she left the curtains open. So after the goodbye at the end of MAHOU TSUKAI, the original, Riko and Mirai met for the first time in an Izayoi moon. And Riko told Mirai at the end that they would meet again in a fateful Izayoi moon once more in the future. And this happened in the original MAHOU, but it was 5 years after. And so in the period of those 5 years, Mirai left her curtain open because if Riko and Hachan came back during a Izayoi moon, she would instantly notice. She would instantly know that they would come back. So she got this habit of leaving the curtain open, and which Riko found weird, and she kept on, telling Mirai that it was open, but that's why she got this habit, because she was always looking at the moon and expecting Riko to come back. I love Mirai Days so much. It's such a subtle way of telling this piece of the story that we missed in the original, because the original didn't tell us exactly what happened between those 5 years. And now we are learning a little bit more from that. And I love it. It's incredible. Oh my God. And then she also had the Hachan vision, the vision with the four of them. And then she asks Mofurun, what do you think is happening? Why do you think, where do you think Hachan is? And why didn't she appear yet? And I have the same question to the directors and the writers of Mirai Days. And Mofu just says like, oh, Hachan's a tough girl. She's fine wherever she is. And then they go to sleep. And the episode ends with Ayer. We see him coming back home. And his home is like a different scenario. Whenever he gets inside, it feels like a different dimension. It's just a regular apartment, but it's so huge inside, and it's a very mystical place, kind of. It's a normal place, but it feels kind of mystical as well. And when he gets inside, he talks to his dog, and he tells his dog what happened and why he came back to the past in episode 1 and told them what he heard from them in episode 3. I love this paradox. And he says that he didn't like what he saw in the past. So we don't really know what he did see, but we see a picture of him with an older woman when he was a kid together with an older woman. We cannot see her face. And I wonder what the secret is. And the only thing in this episode did not have an outright answer that this episode showed as a mystery, apart from Hisui's story and Ayer's story, which are bigger arcs inside Mirai Days, obviously, is what happened to Mirai's grandma's ankle. So I wonder if she has something to do with Ayer. Is she the younger person that the older woman who was younger in that picture? What's going on? I love this theory. Oh, and one interesting fact that we learned in this episode, we didn't learn in this episode, but there was a reference to that. Riko is now in the human world, and she is a teacher, so she has to have substitutes. And the ones that are substituting her are Liz, her sister, and Saucier. Saucier is one of the antagonists of one of the all-star movies from PreCure. At the end of the movie, she became a magical user, a witch, and now she is a teacher in the magical world. I think she appeared in episode 50 of MAHOU. I don't necessarily remember, but she was mentioned in this episode as well. So that is a very interesting tidbit. As I say, Mirai Days is putting so much detail into the narrative, and I am living. This season is it. That's all I have to say. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. These are my opinions on episode 3 from Mirai Days. Next week, we are starting a new journey with You and Idol. And obviously, Mirai Days is continuing. It's going to be fire. Anyways, just have to say thank you to the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member, thank you very much for your support here on YouTube, your support on Patreon. On Throne, thank you very much. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.